Hello, it's Crafty Rhea and welcome to another video. I'm so glad you are joining me today. If you saw one of my last videos from BB Craft, I received this huge package of faux leather, and 4 of the pieces had some Santas and Christmas decorations on them. So I thought I would use those today and recycle some Christmas cards. I will set the rest of the pack aside for now. We will also see how well I can get some die cuts out of these. So we will experiment together. I chose 2 Christmas cards with Santa faces on them, and I have some die cuts. I thought I would use this oval die cut to cut out his face and this square one to cut that one out. And I would use these as the background papers for the card. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the cards apart and die cut those images. I have my trusty paper cutter, and I'm just going to cut the front of the card off, and I'll cut the sentiment out of the inside. Now the writing here is pretty close to the words, so I think I can get it where I don't get the pen marks. Let me see. Let me see if I can get that a little closer. There we go. That's about as close as I can get it. This one is really close to the words, but that's okay. We will make it work. I don't like to waste the sentiment on the inside if I don't have to. And I'll do the same thing with this other card. Cut the front off and cut the sentiment out of the inside. This one is not so bad. And I will trim this down. So we have that. So I have the 2 sentiments I will set aside. Now I also have to decide which ones of these I want to use. I'm pretty sure I want this Santa on this one because those are red Santas, and I think it looks really, really good. And then there's this one. I thought either on this one or maybe on this white one. I think I'll do it on the white one because he is pretty dark and it won't show up very good on here. But on this one, it'll have a really good contrast. And there are some like little toys on here, and he has the stocking with the toy. So I think that'll match really good. And I will set these 2 aside for another project. So meanwhile, I'm going to trim these down to be the right size for the front of the card. And I'm going to go ahead and just make 1 cut across the top just to make sure it's even. And it does work well in this paper cutter, so that is good. I'm going to take a slice down one of the sides, again, to make sure it is even. So we have 2 sides that will be straight. So that'll be good. So I have those 2 sides which are squared up with each other. So now I am going to cut out the rest of the inside of this. I want to make it for a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card. So I need to make it this way at 5 and, let's do 5 3/8. And then I will bring it this way and make it at 4 1/8. And I have my card base here, and I'll be able to mat it on there just perfectly. That looks really, really good. And I will save these 2 scraps for later. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I experimented with it, and I already cut the top piece. So I do need to just trim down one of the sides. And then I will do the same thing here. I will make it at 5 3/8. 5 4 1/8. So we have that piece right there. And I have my card base, and I'll be able to mat it right onto the card base. And again, I will save these scraps for later for something else. Set my card bases aside, and I will go ahead and do some die cutting. I have this oval one for him, and I'm going to cut out the smaller oval, I think, out of the center of this. So that's kind of where it will be. I think I want to make it a little more towards the top, like that. So I will cut this out kind of like there. And then that way it won't show, since that is a smaller piece. Get my die cutter. This is the Big Shot by Ellison or Sizzix. It used to be by Ellison, and I think Sizzix purchased them, something like that. So I'm going to line this up on here where I want it to be. I think I want more of his hat in there. I think that looks pretty good. And I will run that through. I'm going to hold this up to this just to make sure I like it. I think it looks really, really cute. So that is good. So now I'm going to take this piece and run the smaller die through it. I think I'll have it towards the top, kind of in the middle. All right, and let me get the top plate. All right, and then I will run it through here, and we'll see how it cuts. I'm going to run it back just to give it 2 passes, since the leather's pretty thick. Let's see what we have. Almost. I bet 3 passes would have been better. I think I can pull it apart carefully. There's a couple strings that probably need to be cut, so I will work on that one in a minute. And let's go ahead and move on to the other card. I have this. Good old Santa holding up a stocking. And I think that's kind of where I want that die cut to be. And I will run that one through. And since these are just cardstock, it really only needs to go through once. So that's the piece that we have. And that will go on here. And then I will cut out, see if I can cut out the smaller piece on here. Yeah, that does give me enough room. So I will make this cut. And I'm going to run it through 3 times this time. I might bring it down a little bit there. Okay. I think that will do pretty good. Let's give this a try running it through 3 times. It's not hard to run through. It goes through really evenly. So that was 1, 2, and I'll go back. 1 more. Let's see what happens now. Let's see if I can get it to cut out completely. Again, there's a couple little pieces that I think I do need to trim. So I will go off camera and see if I can trim those out. Meanwhile, I will put this away. Okay, I went ahead and got these cut out. What I've noticed on this leather is that the vertical thread, so the top and the bottom, were really hard to take apart, but I trimmed it very close to it, and I was able to then pull this piece off really easily. And as you can see, some of those vertical threads really hung on, so you can trim those down with your scissors if you want. So then I have this little piece, and the oval was much easier to take apart because there weren't as many vertical ones. So that worked out really easily. So this is die cuttable. You just have to be really patient and probably do several passes through your die cutter. So I'm going to set these 2 shapes aside. I can use them on another project, or I can use them in Happy Mail. I have my 2 card bases, and I'm going to go ahead and line this one up and give myself an idea of where I want my Santa on there. That is very cute. And of course I need to do something to the bottom. I have this ribbon, this white shiny ribbon, and I thought it would go really good on the bottom of this one. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one a little trim. And I will put that white ribbon across the bottom. And I want to do that before I adhere this down so I could tuck it behind. I have my tape runner, and I'm going to just run a couple pieces of tape along the back of my ribbon. And I will just put this down here along the bottom and fold it over to the back. So then we have that piece like that with the Santa. All right, let's go ahead and put this one together. I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on the back of this. I'm going to put a little bit of extra since it's a piece of leather, so to speak. Fake leather, pleather, faux leather, whatever you want to call it. I want to make sure it adheres down to the paper really well. And I'm going to go ahead and line it up corner to corner. And then I'll press it down. And since the leather is a little bit thick, I'm going to use some foam tape on the center of this to adhere it down. Actually, I'm going to put it on here. Put a piece down there and a piece up here. It'll raise the Santa up off of the card just a little bit, but not too much because I don't want to make the card too thick. Then I'll just put the Santa kind of where I want him and press it down. And then I need a little embellishment on here. So I have my stickers, and I was thinking possibly that Santa, or maybe one of these. This Santa might be a little too tall for the way I have it, and he would kind of block that guy. Let's see if I like him over here. I kind of like him over here. He really does match the Santas on the back. So I think I'll just use this guy. And I will just put him down here. I'm not sure if he'll hold. It's kind of glittery, so he probably won't hold. So I'm going to add some Elmer's glue to the back of him. Since the glitter is an uneven surface, just a sticker by itself probably won't hold very well. But I added a little glue, and the glue can sink down in between the pieces of glitter. I'm going to push him down real well, and then he should stick on there pretty good. I kind of like it. It's very cute. I will set that aside. Set those aside and get out my other card. So I have this card now, and this is going to go on here, and I need something for the bottom of this. I kind of don't want to hide that Christmas tree. I think it looks really good right where it is. So I might just want to put something on here. I have these little sentiments. Let's see what they look like. I think that Jingle Bells looks really good, and I might actually put it in the middle. So let me go ahead and put this card together. Make sure I have it opening the right way. Same as the other card, I'm going to use some tape. You can use any good strong tape or adhesive for this. I would imagine that a wet adhesive would also work. And then I'll do the same thing with this one. Line it up corner to corner. and then push it down. And that usually gets it centered. I hold it by these two corners and I line up these two corners. I'm going to do the same thing with this guy. I'm going to put some tape, foam tape, in each of these four corners. I try to keep my cards 1/4 of an inch or less thick, because if it's more than 1/4 of an inch, you pay extra postage. It goes as a large envelope, and it can be quite costly. And if you're sending out 100 Christmas cards, it gets expensive really fast. I like to try to make sure most of my cards ship out with just a regular 55-cent or forever stamp. So I'm going to kind of decide if I want that in the middle. I kind of like it in the middle. Yep, rather than over to the side. And this is pretty dimensional. There are 2 pieces of foam tape on here. I'm going to remove the one piece from here, since we already have the thickness of the leather. So I'm going to glue those 2 down. It doesn't really take away anything from the card, and it'll for sure keep it less than 1/4 of an inch thick. And a lot of times when I'm sending these to crafty friends, I usually stuff them with goodies. So I try not to make my cards too thick, if you know what I mean. I'm going to put a piece of this foam tape in the middle here too, just to see if it'll hold on a little extra right there, since it's going on glitter. And you can see the dimension there. Give that a good push. And then we have that card. I really like the way that one turned out. So we have the really pretty background, the faux leather background, and then we have some decorations up in the foreground. Same with this guy. We have that really cute Santa sticker that I think matches and ties it all together, along with that really pretty background. And these are really neat. Whoever receives them is going to be like, wow, those are cool. At least I hope they do. All right, so I got a piece of red construction paper from my stash, so I can go ahead and mount these 2, so I can put them on the inside of the card. With construction paper, I prefer to use wet glue, so this is my Elmer's. And I will trim that out. And then I will trim this one out. While I was sitting here filming, my husband brought me in this homemade Frosty. So when I'm editing this video, I'll be munching on that Frosty. Good thing I'm almost done. All right, and I will cut this piece out. then I will adhere this down to the inside of the card using the Elmer's glue. I use it with the fine metal tip, just like the art glitter glue. I honestly don't notice a difference between the two. I've been using it for quite some time. I don't notice a difference except for the price. Big difference in the price. And this is actually an old art glitter glue bottle that I've been pouring my Elmer's glue in. If I use the Elmer's glue out of the regular bottle, a little bit too much comes out, just like any glue, and it's not as good. But with the fine metal tip, it works well. So there we go. Those are the 2 cards. I hope you enjoyed this video. These are faux leather from BB Craft. I will put all of the links below. I'm part of their YouTube program. About once a month or so, they let me go on their website and choose some supplies, about $40 worth of supplies, and I make 3 videos for them, an unboxing and then 2 project videos. So this is the first project video from this unboxing, and I will link everything below so you can go check them out. My links for BB Craft are affiliate links, and I do make a tiny bit of commission on them, but I do appreciate your support if you did want to purchase from them. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please click on that subscribe button down at the bottom. I would greatly appreciate it if you did. And head on over to my Facebook group, Create with Crafty Rhea. It is such a fun group, and the ladies there are awesome. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you very much. And until the next video, you know what to do. Go get crafting. Bye-bye.